Yeah, we are now live. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. South on the another one, Jimmy Jr. Hope that everything's having a good day. If you're all interested, please come join me. As you all know by now, I am no longer collecting monetization. I can't monetize. So, if you want to support me, and like Aaron's on here as well, if you want to support us and watch us do these things, please come to my Patreon, please. We have a Discord channel you can jump on and talk to us, just everything else. So, please, if you want to see us and support us, if you don't mind, please come help out if you don't. Also, we have a Facebook group. On the Federation side, we're known as the Specialized Attack Squadron. On the Clan side, we're known as the Elite Honor Guard. Again, we have the Discord, so you can reach out and talk to us. Now, on this one, we're actually going to talk about the featured episode. I'm going to actually let Aaron kind of handle the majority of that. Now, in this one, they don't say much. It's after the event, blah, 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 a new campaign, which could be coming out on the 23rd. So this will actually come out on the 23rd. You'll be able to do this thing on the 23rd. At level 10, you'll be able to do this, both Ronald and Cleon, at level 10 and do this, on the 23rd this comes out. So they really don't say much. So, Aaron, why don't you go into details? Because me and Aaron was actually looking up these names here.
Yeah, no problem. I can definitely do that for you, Jimmy. I'm just doing a real quick sound check to make sure we're still good. So I just needed a second to get my voice in there. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and talk about this featured episode and also the ship. Really cool stuff. If you don't know, the 8th anniversary is on Tuesday, the 23rd, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, the 23rd, it all starts. So like I said, all of this comes out as of today. The winter event's gone, so if you missed the chance, say that they'll do it next year when you roll over and roll the stuff over. Today was the last day to the winter event. You have the replay. The replay is now running from the 19th to the 23rd. So the 19th, 20, 21, 22. If you missed anything like the Dream Officer, the Odorless Cane,
replay should be over.
No, it's still going.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's still going.
Cool.
It is still going. But it's like Aaron pointed out.
The video and sound looks really good.
Great. But the replay is still going till the 22nd. But the 23rd is when all of this starts. That is going to start. So, Aaron, why don't you go ahead and I'm going to let Aaron kind of handle a lot of it. Because me being redneck, to me, that's Skigadod and Charybdis.
Oh, okay. So talking about the featured episode first, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm on the featured one. And again, like I said, they don't say much. Just, you have to do level 10. It comes on the 23rd, and we're hunting down a fleet gun.
Yeah, they will give us probably some more details. We already know what the mission rewards are, which we'll get to when we talk about the ship. Or at least some of the mission rewards. We also, I would encourage you, just like I tell Jimmy, keep an eye on Tribble for those of you who have access to the Tribble test server.
Let me interrupt. So the ones that are free to play, you're not going to be able to get it because you're free to play.
Correct.
Only subscription and lifetime. That's good. Me and Aaron. That's why we can go in.
Right. So if you have access to, keep an eye on it. You never know when they'll throw something in that you might be able to check out and get a sneak peek at. So far, they haven't done anything like put the episode up. I don't think they're going to do that because they usually only have us test episodes when they're putting out a lot of episodes like they did with the Toss story arc.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. Let me talk a little bit about this featured episode. Now, like Jimmy said, they don't tell us a whole lot. We have this nice picture here of he's captain now, right?
Yeah,
Jordy.
He's a captain.
And then
the general, that General Nortok, did you say them?
No, buddy. He is not a general.
Ooh, is he a captain?
No, buddy. He was a general. His proper title is Chancellor of the High Council.
That's
as
right.
As far as I'm concerned, he was in charge of the Klingon Empire, and somebody pretended to kill him, if you remember the previous featured episode.
Okay, yeah.
So we found him, and now he's back. And we're going to get to see a little bit more of that, I'm really hoping. Because we dealt with the House of Torg in that featured episode. That was fun.
Yeah.
So anyways, this featured episode here, I'm going to go ahead and read this part here. Unless, Jimmy, do you want to do it?
I've already kind of read the second paragraph and the third paragraph. But the third's one I skipped through there.
All right. So basically, what's happening here, and I'm just going to kind of sum it up, is that after the last featured episode where we set up the Draenor colony and we stopped the Zankethi from destroying it, in which we found out that the crystals that the Zankethi have been trying to destroy are actually eggs for these nasty, angry spider creatures. I do not remember what they're called, but
they're spidery.
So,
that's all they're disgusting little spiders you want to step on.
They're angry crystal spiders, and that's all I need to know to shoot them.
And to kind of tell you a hint, people, when you throw Miracle Grow on them, they turn into Tholians. Because Tholians are nasty little spiders.
That is not true. Let's not lie to our fans, please.
Yeah, it's just, me and Aaron's got some ideas. Yeah, these are spiders. But the idea...
Well, we'll learn a little bit more about them, and I think we've already learned about them. And if you want our theory about what about how this whole thing started, check out our last stream that we did that talked about the developer blog They Came From Below. Yeah. But anyways, the Zankethi are still on their rampage to basically wipe out any planet that has these crystal spider thingies on them. And it's not cool. They're completely wiping out perfectly happy planets. So the Alliance, so we're talking Federation, we're talking Romulans and Klingons, and those guys, are trying to say, hey, Zankethi, can you stop this? And they're not getting any responses. So now we are going, as a group, as an Alliance, to go and stop them. So the name of this episode is called Scylla and Charybdis. Now, for those of you who are literature buffs, you'll know that Scylla and Charybdis come from Homer's The Odyssey. Scylla and Charybdis are two monsters. Basically, one is... they describe it as having snakes for heads. Like, they describe it as having heads. It's kind of a big sea monster. And then the other one being Charybdis, which is basically a whirlpool. Or something to that effect. Well, Odysseus, in this story, is stuck in a strait. So he's basically in a corridor where think of it as a river, except it's not. It just connects two parts of the sea, and it's got two islands next to it. So he's stuck. He's trying to get away from this island, and in order to get away from this island, he needs to either go towards Charybdis or towards Scylla. Problem with that is that they're both scary monsters. He has to decide which one he wants to deal with. Scylla and Charybdis are nothing to be trifled with, and it's actually basically a metaphor, and Jimmy and I were talking about the Temerians, Darmok and Jalad on Tanagra. This story could be used as a metaphor that they would use to describe being stuck between a rock and a hard place. So they're already telling us at this point that we're going to run into a situation where we have to make a choice. Yeah. And it's going to be a difficult one, and neither option is really that great. So they've already given us a little bit about it. Now they've told us that a part of this mission, we are going to have Captain LaForge, Captain Kumark from the Lucari, as well as General. They call him General Martok. I will still insist that he is the true and proper Chancellor of the High Council, but that part of the story has not yet been resolved. Yeah. So I can understand why they didn't call him, Chancellor. But he is. It's really kind of interesting because there's a lot of loose ends still. We know now what these crystal things are, but we don't know what the whole deal is. There's this story with Martok. There's a little bit of story that we had before that involved Scylla. She's still in prison. But there was a teaser at the end of that episode that I'm hoping they resolve in this one. So there's a lot of loose ends, and this is the last fight in the war with the Zankethi. So we're talking about moving from this arc into another one after this. Yeah. So this is a kind of exciting to see what sort of loose ends they tie up, and they carry on bits of story from arc to arc because we met with Mr. Bad Idea, the Krenim guy, Noi. We met with him across two different arcs because we dealt with him in the Iconian War, we dealt with him in Future Proof, And we also dealt with him a little bit in spoiler alert, we dealt with him a little bit in the Yesterday's War arc, the one that moves through the hit list.
Yeah.
So there is that. So this is really exciting, and I'm starting to. So let's go ahead and move on, Jimmy.
All right. Now this next one, I'm gonna let Aaron kind of handle everything. Now, Spirit.
Well, you had lots of questions on the next.
Yes, Spirit Longsword. We still cannot get the answer. Is this a toilet shit? Is it not a toilet shit? Is this a toilet shit? The only thing I'm going to say it is, the reason why, because it uses one Lieutenant Commander Tactical / Pilot, and then it's got one Universal, one Lieutenant Universal Pilot. And as Aaron just pointed out just a few moments ago, it's got a turn rate of 18/second, so that's 18 degrees per second. This thing can flip on a dime. Now, Day here in his cheat that he likes using, he put those consoles on because he's got that corrosive console, he's got that fleet console at the ethic level, so he's got a bunch of ethic consoles that helps his turn rate. He'll knock that down to literally 8 degrees a second, and he'll flip that thing even tighter than a dime can be dined. But no, as Aaron pointed out...
So, it's definitely an escort, and I mean, pilot ships are escorts too. But there are some things that this ship and pilot ships have in common. Typically, they don't put pilot stations on ships that aren't pilot ships. This one has 2 pilot officer seats.
Yeah. Okay, real quick. All right, during the Star Trek Online anniversary event, you obtained the 8th anniversary prize vouchers. During this event, prize vouchers can be spent on the event reputation by obtaining 6. I'm going to let Aaron say that because I'm going to say Doritos. What's the name of the ship? Aaron?
Denorios.
Thank you. Class Bajoran Interceptor. This project will require 1,008 anniversary prize voucher, 400 of these, which can complete it. So when you do the featured episode the very first time, you'll get 400 right off the bat. Now here's the thing. It will not roll over. Don't think that you can save these 8-year anniversaries, because once this anniversary is over, they just disappear. They go die. So
now,
these cannot roll over.
To save yourself from the grind, do this on one tune. Just one tune.
Yep.
Because this is the anniversary ships are where you can unlock it in your account. I'm trying to remember if it's through the dilithium store or the event store.
But it's through the store. You have to go into where you've got Q, go there, and then once you go into where it says event, you'll see winter event, summer event, special event. That's where you look for it. Special event. That is how you unlock this one. It's where you see Q, the winter event and the summer event.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to let Aaron kind of read through.
Sure.
So you see it's been upgraded over the years, a.k.a. Celestial Temple. No.
Well, we've seen...
I started thinking of Celestial Temple, because in the other story, we were seeing Temple, Holy Temple.
Well,
being the...
that's a different thing.
Yeah,
the Celestial Temple just means the... Now...
But, real quick. Okay, so these are the ship details. Mm-hmm. It's a tier 6. You have to be level 60 to use it. You have to use
you have to be level 40 to use it. Read your thing. You have to be level 40.
Oh, I didn't see that. Usually tier 6 is level 60 only.
Your level helps determine how... So at 40, it's 30,000. And then at 60, it's 42,000. So your level is only impacting the hull strength.
Now, here's the other thing. The other reason why I call it a pilot ship. Most pilot ship has 5 forward weapons and 2 rear. Most pilot ship. Now, there are a couple of them that only has like 3 here and like 4 there. But this one's got 5 in the front, 2 in the rear, as well as the bridge officers. Turn rate, as you see, it's got 18 weapons plus 10, shield plus 5, engine plus 5. Now, I'm going to let Aaron handle all of this, but the experimental weapon. Now, Steer Josh, you was all asking. To me, that's that black gun thing that they're calling the voice of the prophet. Can do dual cannons. this is your ship trait. So I'm gonna let kind of Aaron handle all of this. Because I'll just butcher the words, unfortunately. But the Dorito off this matrix. Go ahead, Aaron.
All right. So yeah, this thing is going to be a beast, and you tactical officers are going to love it. So like Jimmy said, it's got a lot of very pilot ship-like things on it. Its turn rate is not the same, but very close to that of pilot escorts that we got in the Delta or when the Iconian story came out. So this ship has a special console on it, which is Domino. Stands for Denarios Offense Matrix and Invader Neutralization Overdrive. I will stick to calling it Domino.
I do want that Domino pizza. I'm gonna give 30 minutes.
They describe it as a complex training system used by the Bajoran Defense Ministry to heighten combat awareness in starship crews. So the overdrives weapon systems and crosswires the availability enhancements to specialized sensors that recognize when an enemy is defeated, increasing combat performance. So what this will do is boost your phaser damage and your accuracy. It is a universal console, can be used on any starship.
That's taser days. So right out the days, if you're using a shoot the taser, yeah, you definitely want this on your sucker.
Honestly, I like it on this ship.
Yeah.
So its mastery trait, the tier 5 mastery trait, is harrying maneuvers, activating emergency power to engines or any pilot bridge officer ability, which is why it'll be important to use those pilot officer powers, which is another reason why we think it's technically classed as a pilot ship. Yeah. This will temporarily grant you major increase to accuracy as well as shield penetration, which is huge for you tactical officers. Yeah. In addition to these bonuses, your weapons gain a chance to render a system or a subsystem offline at random once per second, and it can be gained once every several seconds. So they don't say how many specifically, but it does sound like
stacks. Yeah, it sounds like it stacks.
Experimental weapon. Jimmy's absolutely right. The experimental weapon is that extra weapon console slot that you have on of your escorts now. We get an ion cannon for free. Competitive War Games offers you black shot cannon. There are several other escorts and pilot ships that have special ones, like the Miradorn Raider has a special weapon. This would go in a slot like that. In fact, this weapon can be used in any ship that has that weapon slot. So basically what this does, apparently it was mining technology and later adapted as weapon. It creates a dense cloud of compressed particles that facilitate high-intensity pressure waves to be sent through the vacuum of space. Basically, it sounds like a space shock. Or if you think of the shock waves that are available on different ships, the plasma shock wave on a Romulan ship or photonic shock wave on Federation ships, except that instead of going at a radius around you, it sounds like it might actually be directed, which is dangerous. This weapon is also upgradable. So you can upgrade it all the way up to 14 Epic, and let me tell you, as a user of the flat cannon, do that. It's very important that you do that, because it's super powerful.
And then it comes with... Now, these are probably going to be for this ship only, so you have to keep these parts on this ship only?
No, actually.
Can you use these? Are these universals?
Well, warp cores and shield like that are typically universal, so you can use them on any ship. They very rarely keep you to one.
Okay, yeah, you're right, because here's the singularity core. And singularity core, those are Romulan ships. Those are Romulans. So, yeah, they are universals.
So,
but the funny thing is they're only showing the core. They're not getting a whole... You know, the whole kind of command set, and had all the pieces, shield, the
well, I'll get to that in just a second. I need to think them.
Good.
So, Bajor Defense War cores. This is the only part of this set for the Bajor defense set that comes on this ship. You remember, Jimmy, when they did the Kabali ship, and several ships after that. There was always one piece that was on the ship, and then every other piece you had to get from the mission. In this case, the warp core comes on the ship, and the impulse engines and the shields and the deflector, they're all mission rewards.
Yeah. Now,
so you get them from completing the mission, Scylla and Charybdis.
Yeah. And just kind of reminded me, the USS Dorito, it had a piece. It came on that piece. You had to do the anniversary to get USS Dorito.
That was the one that came with it was the Universal console. And I think Coordinator something. And I think the God Heel basically. And I think it also came with the warp core. Just like because this is exactly how they set up the Poly ship when they first
that's called
at the anniversary event. That was what, 2 or 3 years ago.
No, last year. I think last year we got the Dorito
No, not
ship.
the Kabali ship. The Kabali ship, the one from the Delta Quadrant. Delta Rising
of
was...
the Dorito, because what I'm trying to say is, they brought out the Dorito ship, you had one piece on it, then you had to do the whole...
I'm talking about the Kabali ship, the Delta Rising,
I
which was years ago.
I missed the Gadala.
I know, that's why I'm trying to explain. Is that just like those other ships, the warp is the only part that you got of the space set.
Right.
Now the console will only come on the ship always, but
right.
So they're giving you the warp core with this set, and then they are giving you the opportunity in the Scylla and Charybdis featured episode to pick up the remaining parts in the featured episode. Now we do not have stats on those other parts because they have not released them yet. The only thing we have stats on is when you first get them, it'll be Mark 12, very rare purple. It will be a part of the set. Like I said, you can get the rest of the set from the Scylla and Charybdis featured episode each week. So remember, week 1, you're going to get one part. Week 2, you're going to get another part. Week 3, and so on. Just like every featured episode we've had. Once the mission is done and the featured episode is done being featured, it'll go into the normal story arc. And then those rewards will be ones you'll have to just repeat the mission over and over again to claim. And you'll probably have to do it at level 60. So there is a...
I got one great, though.
Only one?
Yes.
No.
Now, I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. Critic, if you're listening to me, Critic, don't stab me in the back. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is, when they did the Lucari, I knew he was coming because they made the mention out they were upgrading the multi-mission ship from the T-5 to T6 multi-class, multi-mission site ship to T6 level. Like they did with the Dyson Science Destroyer, after you did 33 stars and got all the pieces. If you want to get the rest of the Dyson set, you had to get the Dyson Destroyer set from the Zentoga. They did the same thing with the multi-mission, where if you want to get the rest of the Lucari set, and they'll get all those science powers, blah, 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 you had to have this one piece.
Well, a lot of the anniversary ships did have a dense version in them.
Right.
Even the very first one, the very first time we got a ship was, and that became a Zen store. So that's nothing new. Anyways, let's talk about these warp cores real quick before we're out of time.
Yeah, we're coming up on 25 minutes. But
yeah, we're already farther than we should be.
But now, like I said, yeah.
But if you let me finish, I can still
go. You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Instead of interrupting me, Jimmy, and complaining. Yep. So, anyways, this is available both as a warp core and a singularity core for those of you players. Now, do keep in mind, Romulan players, even though you play that mission at level 10, you have to have selected a faction, Klingon or Federation, in order to claim this ship.
Yeah.
Let's see, it gives you, warp core gives you an increase of engine power by 5. Let's see.
Yeah,
It also emits an
Bajoran
energy
get a
siphon.
plus.
Ooh, this is a power drain, Jim. It emits an
Mm-hmm.
energy siphon field in proximity around the
Mm-hmm.
vessel, which can affect multiple targets, so it's AoE.
Yep.
When utilized with other equipment from the set, it can gain the ability to hinder enemy maneuverability and lower their resistances while providing boosts to your own maneuverability.
Yep.
Shoot! So
But
it's a
then if
power
you look on the
drain. It
Romulan,
slows people down,
yep.
and it lowers their resistance and increases your maneuver resistance. Jimmy, that
Yep.
is deadly.
Yep. But then if you look
Um,
on the Romulan, on the Federation, you get a plus 5 to power, but Romulans, you get that same plus 5, but because you are a singularly charged base, you get
yes,
a plus 15.
and that was what I was coming to. Everything about the singular is the same except for that. So you get the same base level plus 5, but as your singularity core charges, like Jimmy was saying, you can get up to plus 15, which is crazy.
Yep.
So that is something that's going to be very cool for you Romulan players.
Yep.
In order to, it does look like this ship does not have a specialized bridge. It uses a generic bridge,
Yeah.
which is sad but understandable. Let's see. And of course, like I said, they don't give us any information about the other parts of this Bajoran defense set. They probably will do that when they announce the first day of the featured episode on Tuesday. Because they'll tell us what the pieces are and what they do when you put them together and all of that good stuff. So expect Jimmy will probably stream about that as well.
Yep.
I think that's the last thing we had to cover.
That's about it. I'm actually on the other page looking. We'd already talked about the tail. Now, I'm not gonna go into details. Tech notes, there's not really much. But on Turtle, you can try out the new crafting system on Turtle, but that's about it.
Do you think they're going to launch that with the anniversary?
Well, to be honest with you, the last one with the, Captain Lethorge, we never got to test it out. They just simply did a couple other, like the colony thing, a couple other things. But we never got to try the one with that ghost guy or whatever he was supposed to be. That was never put on Turtle, so I don't think so.
All right. Did we miss any questions?
Well, there's nobody in the room watching, but otherwise, top notes, like I said, the only thing was it's a colony. Apparently, there's a incorrect crop rate when you're doing the colony missions. That's about it. So,
cool.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We're coming up on 28 minutes.
Ooh, we went long.
Well, you said 20, and well. Alright, real quick. So, like I said, as you all know, I'm no longer being monetized by YouTube. So, if you want to support me and Aaron, keep watching us do what we're doing, please come to my Patreon page. It will be in the link. Please subscribe. And I'm going to kind of give you a hint. Yes, I have naughty stuff. But to this stuff, this and everything else, will go to the free one because I consider this public knowledge. But little quick stories that you'll see here. But then if you want to, walk through it, I'm only asking for $5. It's not much. But you tell me what mission you're looking for, what mission you're trying to do. If there's an accolade you want, tell me which one it is. I will put it here, and if you're willing to pay that $5, I will do that step by step, holding your hand while doing that mission with you, and you get to show up right here on my next stream together with me. If that's something that you're interested in. Otherwise,
you also put the Tribble stuff up there, right? For the
for the Tribble too, yeah. On Facebook, like I said, we have the Facebook page, we have the Discord channel, so please look us up, this and everything else. We're coming up on 30 minutes, so since I don't see any questions, again, all of this stuff, well, you go away. Crap, go ahead. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, I just totally screwed up here.
Go ahead and let's wrap it up, buddy.
Like I said, all of this will basically be coming out on the 23rd. Where is it? There it is. So like I said, this could be all these starting on the 23rd. It'll do this, and you'll have till the 22nd to do everything, do all of this stuff, everything else and all. So, replay is going on now. But, and I'll definitely be looking to the area because we'll be doing live streams of this and be showing it all. So, since I don't see no questions, you Federation players, Little and Proctor, you Romulan players, John and Drew, you Klingon players, Katla, and I'll see you out there in the stars, and Aaron.
Have a good night, everybody.